1.5 hours. So let me now bring in somebody else by the name of Dr. Conrad Wasire. He is an advisor at the Katiba Institute, and he's also a PhD holder for devolution.
Yes,
thank you so much for joining us.
A pleasure.
We were having a robust, you're welcome. We're having a robust conversation here with the Member of Parliament for Makueni. And I started by asking him, what are we expecting this afternoon? I mean, one of the things, of course, is for the President to enumerate what, his administration has been able to do. But apart from that, from where you sit, what are you expecting?
Well, the State of the Nation address by the President is the opportunity for the President to inform the country how the country has progressed in terms of realizing the values and principles of governance which are listed under Article 10 of the Constitution. But if you go through these specific principles, you find that they really cover the whole governance of the country, including the national government and the 47 county governments, and indeed the entire republic, of which the president is in charge. And basically then we hope that based on that, most of the major issues, which I think Kenyans are very aware of, the doctor strike has been going on, the famine, the insecurity issues, and the relations between the two levels of government, which have been dominating the media scene.
All right.
What is important for this address is what is the government's response? And basically, what are these things or policies or issues which have been put in place, especially from the national level, which is in charge of policies, to see that these things are straightened in order, because we saw earlier residents in Mombasa saying the Rais lazima angalie maslahi ya mwananchi wa kawaida. I think that translates into what cabinet secretaries are doing in their ministries, what the president is actually coordinating in the ministries to see that we have these things. So if maybe we take one specific issue, you can take, for instance, the doctor strike. We expect maybe from the president to hear what are the long-term efforts to address the issues, because the strike that happened with the doctors is a symptom of
so many issues,
policies, laws not in place. Up to now, we do not have the Health Act. It's not yet in place.
All right.
And that is where we should start from the State of the Nation address. We want to hear what the Health Act says, the health policies, and those challenges which we saw that led up to the strike, how they are going to be addressed in the next 1 year until the next State of the Nation address.
All right. Conrad has talked about the issues that really are affecting the country right now. And one of them is security. As you've seen, they were reporting that 10 people died, just last night from the latest attack. I mean, what are you expecting him to tell us? Because this has been going on for such a long time. Yes, we've seen the Deputy President make inroads, to go and pacify some of the other areas that have been affected. But this one really has been there for such a long time.
Yes, and it's a very serious matter. And the security is squarely on the desk of the President. And in fact, no single Kenyan should lose life because of insecurity. I've been to Baringo, and I've also gone all the way down the valley to Tot, near where part of these things happen. And the earlier plan during the Kibaki administration was to have, because that's a very arable land, and these people are actually looking for food. There's nothing else which makes them steal.
Right.
Is looking for food, or resources have become scarce, or that's why they do what they call stock exchange. They exchange their animals. For a long time, it has not been a crime. We have now brought a bill on the floor of the House and passed, such that now if you kill someone in this sort of raid or while you are stealing animals, you are sentenced to death. It's now equivalent to robbery with violence or murder. And before it wasn't. It was like a cultural practice, but now it has become so serious. So the earlier proposals during that time was we have a zone, a buffer zone of some sort, with a lot of irrigation and the food crops going on. And I believe some of these people, because they're looking for food, if they get to such area, they will just pick food and go. And then we need systems whereby the Kenyans themselves are educated about these practices, and that there are methods of making sure now there are better ways of doing it, or cattle rustling sort of thing. At times it comes all the way from Uganda because some of these communities around that area are across the border. And that's the reason some of them are armed. And the moment they're armed, there is no proper way of monitoring these arms. So that sometimes the arms get misused, right, and the people are killed. You can see like 4 of these people killed today are children.
Yes,
from
yes. Right.
And you can imagine how innocent children are, and their president is there, and they're being killed.
Okay.
There's a chief. Recently, even one of the chiefs was killed.
Yes, yes.
So we have a lot of security in the country, which is concentrated in the wrong places. And we must have particular specialized people to deal with this particular area, because the people is a hard area. And at times, if you use the security personnel from that region, it could even be much better. But most of it is sponsored by leaders.
Sponsored by leaders?
Yeah, it is activated by leaders, and they are aware about it.
All right.
So we also need to look at leaders who are instigating this, or know about it, and they don't give information to be able to stop it.
Right.
Because the killing in certain people, you have seen children even armed with arrows.
Yes, yes.
And I believe most of these arrows, because I come from the Kamba nation, are poisoned.
All right.
And the moment it catches up with someone, they cannot even be treated.
Yeah.
They will die. And you can see the Wananchi have resulted into protecting themselves. Yeah, so we should have proper security system. It should be addressed. I believe the Honorable Gaiseri is competent enough to deal with this, and the president, but they have only been negligent.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. I'd like to hear the thoughts of Conrad. Conrad, we're talking about the president enumerating some of the good things, or the great things he's done for this country. Where you sit, and especially having studied devolution, specifically touching on devolution, what can you say is something that he can say, that this is what we came in, found out this was a situation before, and were able to do this later, a success story from his administration?
Okay. Thank you, Betty. Maybe in terms of devolution, we have to recognize that there's some steps which have been made. If you look at reports coming from the counties themselves, or the annual reports of activities from the Council of Governors, they have detailed things which counties have been able to do with the little money that they have received from the national government, and the revenues that they have been able to collect locally. We have had stories of the first cesarean being performed in the Mandera County. We've had the first tarmac up there north, and many other success stories which we've had. The other important thing about devolution is that before devolution, the pre-2010 era, if you look at the sums of money that were being disbursed from the central government to areas like Lamu, and then you look at the sums of money that were being disbursed now to Lamu County, for instance, you'll find that it's 10 times over what Lamu County used to receive from the central government allocations before devolution. So definitely there is some success which has been achieved. However, we have to say that 5 years is still a relatively short time, in creating an impact, because we hope that the investments they have done in infrastructure, social development, health amenities, schools, and all that will begin having an impact in terms of improved healthy livelihoods, and maybe improved standards of education, and all that. And those are things which will take the longer term. However, we still have major challenges. And if I can just mention, maybe it's very, very briefly, it's the management of the transition to county governance. If you look at the laws and the policies which we put in place as a country to ensure effective transition to county government, there's a very big question there. For instance, like I mentioned earlier, the Health Act is not yet in place, and we are seeing the problems with the doctors. We see counties every other day claim, and rightly so in some areas, that the national government is still performing functions which belong to counties, and that translates to monies which could actually be transferred to the counties. And what we are missing is a comprehensive analysis of what the national government is to do and the counties are to do, and we missed that opportunity big time during the 3 years of the transition period.
So now it's just picking up the pieces.
Yes, we have to see where to pick from and move ahead as a country.
All right, thank you so much, gentlemen, for your time. Dr. Conrad Busire, he is an